still, that was impressive. Even if it was only a small one, I wasn't fast enough to do anything about it myself. I didn't get to take a proper look at the thing before it was sent flying, but it was some sort of creature, probably one of the monsters that Erin was talking about. It was most likely that it had only been aiming at the hen, and not at the boy. Had that really been the hostile presence that I felt? Could I have been wrong? That's when I noticed that the man is still standing there watching me. You're not from around here, are you? Well, I'm pretty new here myself, but I'm sure I would have noticed some like you. No, you could say I just arrived today. I see. My name is Gavin, and are you? You are? Lena. Lena, nice to meet you. I don't like his face. I wouldn't trust him. It's not every day that you get to see a new face in this town. And excuse me for saying it, but I can't help but get the impression that you have had a rough start in these parts. Makes a small nod towards my bandages. It's not a this one. Yeah, well, I have had my difficulties on my way here. He laughed slightly heartily. Whoa, that was amazing. I looked down and noticed two kids from before. The boy is holding the hand in his arms. Where did you learn that, miss? Oh, that's you. This is the second time today someone calls out at me in the manner. Annoyed to turn my head and see someone familiar appearing between the trees not far away. The bias. What are you doing here? His face is a mix of surprise and then anger. This is the first time I see him light up like this, as he hastily approaches us. You were supposed to stay in the cottage! You can't tell me what to do. I will leave if I want to. You two know each other? Kevin looks both surprised and amused by this. Tobias shoots him an angry glare. And you stay out of this? It's none of your business! None of his business? And what is this place? None of my business. What? You told me to leave here alone, that you alone had found me and brought me back. Then what is this town? You're right, it is none of your business. All you have to do is get better and go back to where you came from. Your kind has nothing to do here. My kind? Hey, aren't you getting a little overboard here? Tobias, why don't you give this nice lady a rest? You shouldn't be yelling at a woman when she's hurt. After shooting Gavin yet another icy stare, Tobias finally backs down. Fine, do whatever you want. And then he turns around and leaves on the spot. Oh my, he was certainly in a good mood. And just stand there, looking in the direction that Tobias disappeared without answering. Well, I guess it's about time we go back down. What do you say? Kevin nudged the kids who had been watching our quarrel with wide eyes. Yeah, alright then. He turns up to look at me. What about you? What are you standing around there for? Shortly after, I find myself in a small inn. Some of it looks like it is still under construction, but it is already in use. Gavin has us placed at the table near the wall when I see another familiar face approach us. Oh, there you are again. Just sit tight. I get you something good. You work here? My sister and I run this place, so just relax. This one is on me. Erin disappears out of sight once again. Before long, she returns with 2 plates of dinner for us. Enjoy! Thank you, Erin. That's very nice of you. Don't mention it. Oh, by the way, do you remember to drink your tea? Tea? Yeah, I believe I gave Tobias some tea for you. Oh, that it's from you? My sister mine. She's really good with herbs and healing. If you drink it, you'll get better much faster. Thank you. I will remember that. Erin just smiles and then returns to her duties. So the tea had come from her too. You know her too? Oh, not really. It seems she was one of the people who helped me when I got hurt. I see. You strayed pretty far in the mountains when you got hurt. What were you doing all the way up here? Looks like I shouldn't be asking that just yet. Oh well, everyone has their own reasons for being here. Reasons? Yeah, he's obvious. It's a village full of secrets. He says this with a teasing smirk. as if making fun of me, but he has a point. A hidden village, this way up in the mountains. I can't imagine why anyone would settle down in such a secluded place without a good reason. I'm still not sure what kind of place I have ended up in. So, what is your reason for being here? Mine? That's a good question. One, I'm afraid I also can't quite answer it. I watch him carefully. There's something about this guy that tells me not to stay on my guard, but I'm not really sure what it is. To stay on guard, not. At the end of the day, I return to the cottage. Tobias inside. He's cleaning one of the hunting knives and doing his best to ignore my entrance. I'm not going to let him off that easily, though. Why? He finally looks up. Why what? Why didn't you tell me about the village? Because I did not intend to let someone like you know about it. Did you really believe you could bring me here and I wouldn't notice? If you are so against someone of my kind coming here, then you should have let me lie where you found me. Trust me, I'm beginning to believe I should have. This man definitely pissed me off. Ever since I got here, he has acted this way towards me. I'm seriously beginning to doubt why he even bothered saving in the first place. But give me my sword and I will leave. Leave? He jumps from his chair. Walk out in that condition, they will die. If you're just complaining about things again, I already put them in the room for you. Good. With that I immediately turn around and head for the bedroom, not sparing him another glance. Just as he said, I find all my things on a chair in my room. My sword is lying on top of my damaged uniform. I pick it up and just watch it in silence. It's strange, but it's almost as if these words contain an important part of me. Only when it is here do I feel secure. What a sentimental way of putting it. I put the sword aside with a sigh and take a look at my uniform. It's in bad shape after my fall from the cliff, but most of the bloodstains have been removed. Apparently, Tobias or Erin washed and fixed them for me. Most likely Erin. I can't imagine Tobias doing that much for me. Looking through my things, I realized that my dagger is missing. Probably lost it in the fall. The polished surface of a shield-shaped emblem catches the light and reflects the symbol of the rose engraved on its front. The proof that I am a Templar. The other side of the emblem is blank and smooth. I watched the untouched surface in deep thought. This is where the symbol of my family was supposed to be, as the crests of every other Templar have been engraved in their emblems for identification. I remember seeing Simon's emblem once, thinking how beautiful his family crest had been. A blank page. Looking at my emblem always reminds me of this. My little trip has worn me out more than I initially thought. My head is hurting again, and I'm feeling awfully tired. I don't feel like going out and talking to Tobias again, so I put my emblem back in its place and decide to lie down on the bed and rest for the evening. Tell me about the rose. Darkness is falling and we have made camp for the day. Adele is sitting in front of the fire with a cup of tea, pausing this question as I approach her. The rose? Yeah, we don't know all that much about it in Kyra. Apart from how the Templars of the Blue Rose are supposed to be exceptional warriors with special abilities. But what they really are? I'd like to know. I watched the flames for a while, considering how to best explain it. The rose is what we Templar draw our power from. It is a source of energy that we can connect ourselves with, and thereby do things we would otherwise not be capable of. It is a gift. Energy? You mean like magic? Adele watches me curiously. I have heard that the country of Kerr has a very strict view on magic and the occult, even more so than Bess. Only their priestesses are allowed a kind of magic, but it is very weak. Through small verses of prayer, they draw magic from objects called symbols and use them for different purposes. In the end, the views on these otherworldly things aren't so different in these two countries, just the degree of what is acceptable and not. No, not exactly. I'll tell you the story about the rose if you are interested. Go on, I need to pass the time anyway. I take another small pause to recall the old story before I begin, the way I heard it for the first time. I remember it clearly. It was years ago, when I was still a little girl, running down the hall, coming up the tall statue. It was a beautiful shaped woman of stone, holding a rose in both hands, eyes closed. She looked both serene and beautiful as she stood in the hall, as if time didn't move around her. Who is that? My old caretaker had smiled at my question. That is Lady Yvonne. She's the reason the Templars of the Blue Rose even exist. The Templars? How so? Well, a very long time ago there was a great war in Tanvas. Lady Yvonne had lived peacefully in her lord's castle, far away from the front, but soon the war moved closer and closer to her home, as Tanvas was losing the fight. And one day the castle itself was under siege, overrun by enemy soldiers. The enemy was ruthless, destroying everything as they want. They even burned down the lady's beautiful rose garden. As all seemed to be lost, and many others, including the lord himself, had evacuated the castle, Yvonne still stayed behind along with a few loyal knights guarding her. She called those knights to her and prayed for them while holding the very last blue rose from the garden in her hands. As she prayed on this beautiful flower, the knights felt a renewed energy granted to them, and they returned to the battlefield while Yvonne still sat and prayed. Suddenly the tides turned, and those knights fought a brave battle with a power never seen before. The enemy was defeated, and the last survivors fled. Those knights are said to be the ones that later formed the Templars of the Blue Rose, and they still borrow the powers of the rose whenever they go to battle. Why did she stay behind? I don't know. Maybe she had strong faith from the beginning that she would be able to make it. Looking up at that beautiful statue, I think she already became something like an idol to me at that moment, Lady Yvonne and her flower. That's it? In short, yes. That doesn't really explain anything at all. She furrows her brows in disconnect and continues to stare into the bonfire. In short, Lady Yvonne's prayer still exists, protecting the knights fighting for her home. Those who train and pledge their loyalty to her will be able to form the connection with the rose and make use of its powers. Then you can do that too. I take it. Of course, milady. Otherwise, I wouldn't be a Templar. I guess that's true. I guess. For a moment, I feel tempted to snap back at her, but instead I continue my explanation, in an attempt to change the topic away from me. Well, in practice, we Templar make use of this connection to draw strength from the energies in nature around us. That's the gist of it. What about someone like me? Could a normal person like me learn to do all that? That's a hard question to answer, milady. It takes much determination, training, and discipline to be able to form the connection. And when you finally make the attempt, then according to the teachings, you will still only be able to do so if the Lady Yvonne accepts you. Is that so? So, anyone can do it. Is she even listening with me? It would be funny to try. Yeah, it would, wouldn't it? As if I'd ever get the chance. She laughs and makes a bitter smile. I get the impression she's talking more to herself than me now, and deduct from this that the conversation is over. Leaving her alone, I lean my head back, staring up at the dark sky. Night falls, and countless stars are glittering above us and the mountains. There is still a long way to go before we reach our goal. Some documents fall down from the desk.